Arkham Batman is undeniably the best, most overpowered version of the character, so you would think the Arkham version of the Justice League would be the same, if not better. But that's not the case in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Unfortunately, some people blame Rocksteady as a whole, but I mainly blame the writers, and more importantly, the writers whom Rocksteady hired to help write instead of sticking to their OGs for writing in the past few years. And even more important than that, how the hell did the Arkham Justice League lose their first big battle? If you want to know exactly how the Arkham Justice League lost to Brainiac in the lamest way possible, and who was responsible for writing our heroes to be so dumb, stay until the end. Okay, so who the hell is this version of the Justice League? In this video, I'm not going to go too much off of the in-game bios as they are biased and clearly written by the villains. Instead, I will be going off of my experience with the game and the actual codex audios of the Justice League. 5 years have passed since Batman had faked his death, and he had just been kind of doing exactly what he told Catwoman, creating a new myth using a modified version of the fear toxin. At some point, Batman is approached by Superman, the metahuman from Metropolis. And let me just say, in some cases, I love how they wrote Superman to be a compassionate, caring person. It's just so fitting how he seeks out Batman and welcomes him. In other cases, I hate it how he's written. And you'll see what I mean in just a little bit. But for now, just listen to this heartfelt codex audio. You can tell how close they are as friends and colleagues.
Very funny. Look, you're a smart guy, Bruce. The smartest guy I know. But you've gotta let us help.
Ah, you're right. I'll take a few hours off to sleep. Happy?
Elated.
But after convincing Batman to join Superman's group along with The Flash, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman, the story gets a bit muddy. I wasn't able to find anything explaining why the government didn't have Batman arrested and his assets seized, but it's implied that Batman still has access to his money because Superman outright states that the Watchtower was built with Batman's resources. My only guess is that the government granted him immunity because of all his heroic acts, or it's just that they wouldn't dare challenge the Justice League since they're likely the most powerful force on the planet at this point. It's also interesting that, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, we don't hear about any major battles the League had, besides Batman briefly mentioning the battle they had with the Sinestro Corps. In short, this is the Arkham Justice League, and this should be, like I said earlier, the best version of Justice League. So how the hell did they lose to Brainiac? I get that he's a 12th level intellect with access to his Elseworld counterpart's knowledge as well, but seriously, how? This is the part I was talking about earlier when I said I didn't like how they wrote Superman and Batman in some aspects. When the Skull Ship showed up, everyone in the League was taken by surprise. First, in my opinion, that wouldn't happen. You can catch Batman off guard, but the fact that they have the Watchtower makes it hard to believe that Batman didn't pick that up on some type of radar in the Watchtower. And although taken by surprise, they immediately began plotting. And when Brainiac offered negotiations on his ship, almost everyone was on the fence about it except one, Superman. Superman thought it would be a good idea to try to handle it peacefully, to show the people of Metropolis their hearts. And Batman of course called it reckless. But the League ultimately let their power and arrogance, in my opinion, cause them to get captured. And exactly what Batman thought would happen, happened.
This Brainiac wants to open negotiations aboard his ship. It's a trap.
Agreed. That much is apparent.
I hear you both, but we have to go in good faith. What if I had come to Earth and...
Cal, buddy, I mean, let's be real. You didn't show up in a giant skull.
Let me just say this, if it weren't for the writers trying to set this plot up for Task Force X to have something to do in the game, this foolish play would never happen. I think there has to be a much better way to write this, even if they still want the game to be Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But the way they wrote the Justice League just makes them look like naive amateurs. And I know the Arkham Justice League aren't damn amateurs. And don't get me wrong, I may not like how the story is written, but I have to give credit where it's due. As far as the actual play, in my opinion, it's fun as hell. Each character controls in a unique way. The gunplay and abilities are so satisfying to use. And when it comes to the graphics and open world, you can tell Rocksteady put a lot of love and Easter eggs into design, just like the Batman Arkham games. But it can get repetitive, as many live service games are, because they are dependent on continuous updates and content drops to keep the fun going. And that leads me to believe that there is still hope for the game's story to improve because of all the Easter eggs and little details in the story that leave room for continuation. Like the video I made covering the clone theory in depth, and the video on Batman Arkham Video's channel showing the He Will Return Batman calendar Easter egg. And honestly, if these Easter eggs and theories turn out to be true, I feel like that would break the internet and cause a huge spike in players playing this game. But a lot of anti-fans and haters still aren't convinced, and some are even hoping for the downfall of this game. And for you guys who don't understand what an anti-fan is, basically it's a person who shits on something you like and tries to convince you not to like it because someone else told them not to like it. Although the anti-fan loves to spread awareness, it often becomes misinformation because the anti-fan never experienced the thing that they're spreading awareness about. They are often disrespectful and irritating to engage with because they can't point out a real reason why they don't like something, so their opinion is invalid. And if you simply don't like something but can give an actual reason, and you just spread awareness leveraging your own experience, you are not an anti-fan. And if you're also not trying to bully people into hate, you are not an anti-fan, and I respect you. But if you are an anti-fan by the definition that I stated, your opinion is invalid, you get no bitches, and I don't respect you, because you mindlessly spread misinformation and hatred without looking into things yourself. That is a hallmark of an untrained mind. An NPC if you will, or maybe a bot, and something a real Batman fan wouldn't do. I even had an anti-fan drop 50 comments and replies on one video, just replying to all the positive comments with negative bullshit. Just because you can't enjoy games anymore doesn't mean go and ruin it for others. Like, bro, get a life. But I explained that term because a lot of guys didn't understand what I meant by that in the last video. But side explanation aside, there's one thing I can agree with these guys on, is the question, why wait to tell us that our heroes are alive months from now? Of course we all hate how they did Batman and them, but why write it this way in the first place? There had to be another way to handle this. Well, get ready guys, because we are kind of about to go into conspiracy theory mode. Imagine a secret feminist woke company controlling and ruining games from the shadows. That company's name is Sweet Baby Incorporated. Now, some of the most ridiculous things I've heard about this company from the haters is that they are the reason Harley Quinn doesn't have perky tits anymore. But when one of my close friends told me more about this company, I was stunned and a little concerned that they may be the reason for making the Justice League dumb and naive. And then I did some more digging and found out that the CEO of Sweet Baby doesn't value the actual target market when it comes to the narrative of these stories. She believes that what you want as a gamer is a hindrance to the creativity of the creative making the story. What? That statement makes no sense. When I was 17, I was pretty good at drawing, and I even did some digital art for clients. Hell, I even drew my profile pic and banner for YouTube. That's like me telling my client, fuck you, I'ma draw what I want and you're gonna pay me for it. Or that's like me deciding to make videos on chess when I know you guys like gaming, superheroes, and Batman. Like, I can't wonder why you guys won't watch my chess videos when you clearly like Batman. This woman doesn't give a fuck how many people she puts out of work and how many game developers she destroys to push her agenda. And I'm totally against that corporate ruthlessness and hate towards the customer. What happened to making art that people will love and emphasizes creativity at the same time? But I also heard rumors and whispers that Sweet Baby just played a minor role in writing the story. But what do you think? Is Sweet Baby the real enemy, or did Rocksteady actually orchestrate this story themselves for us, the real fans, to figure out that it's just a fake out? Let me know what you think in the comments. As for me, I'm still not sure, because there's so much information out there, and sometimes it's difficult to tell who just wants the clicks and who is actually giving real information. But click on this video if you're interested in the clone theory, and consider subscribing if you like content based around our favorite superheroes.